Hey, welcome to The Explainer. There's this incredible learning hack, a real shortcut for your brain, and it's been hiding in plain sight for centuries inside an ancient myth. So today, we're going to crack it wide open. So let me ask you something. Why is it that you can remember every twist and turn of some epic quest from a movie or a book, but a simple list of, say, vocabulary words? Poof, gone. It kind of tells you something, right? Our brains are clearly wired for something a lot more engaging than just memorizing stuff. And that's where this comes in. The secret, the key, it's all hidden in the structure of a good story. And to show you exactly what I mean, we're going to dive into this ancient Persian myth, the quest for the Simurgh's feather. Trust me, it's way more than just a cool adventure story. It's basically a masterclass in how to make information stick. All right, so here's our game plan, our quest map, if you will. We'll look at the setup, the trials, the climax, and then the big takeaway. We're going to see how this story teaches us stuff without us even noticing. Okay, let's jump right in. The shortcut all starts with creating urgency. See, a good story doesn't just hand you facts. It creates a problem that you desperately need to see solved. So, right off the bat, the story doesn't just say, hey, a feather was stolen. No, it calls the event a calamity. Think about that word. It immediately raises the stakes, right? It goes from a simple theft to a full-blown kingdom-wide disaster. And just like that, our brains are hooked. We've got a high-stakes problem that needs solving. And then, to really make us feel it, the story adds the word anguish. So now, it's not just some abstract disaster. It has a real, personal, emotional cost. The kingdom isn't just in trouble, its people are actually suffering. That combination, calamity and anguish, is the perfect fuel to launch a hero's quest. Okay, so the stakes are set. Now, how does the story build its characters? Well, it uses this really clever and efficient shortcut. It defines them by putting them in direct opposition to each other. And check this out. This is how the story actually teaches us. It doesn't hand you a boring vocabulary list. Instead, it stages this duel of ideas. You've got the hero's virtues on one side and the villain's vices on the other. That contrast makes every single one of those words pop. It's so much more memorable than just seeing them on a page. Take sagacity, for instance, which is Rostam's big virtue here. We don't learn what it means from a dictionary definition, we learn it from what he does. He doesn't just charge in, sword swinging. He's smart. He seeks advice from the Magi first. That word, sagacity, is now anchored to a specific, wise action. It makes the meaning totally concrete. And then on the flip side, you've got the villain's avarice. His greed isn't just some random character flaw. Oh no, it is the direct cause of the kingdom's calamity. You see how masterfully the story does that? It links everything together. The villain's vice creates the very problem that our hero's virtue is needed to solve. It's brilliant, and this pattern just keeps going as the quest unfolds. Rostam's whole journey up the mountain is basically a series of trials, and each one is a mini lesson in disguise. He has to use prudence to get through the treacherous traps. He needs tenacity to fight off the allure of opulence. Every single challenge becomes the perfect backdrop for learning a new idea. All right, so this whole journey is building towards the climax. And this is where the story really locks in its most powerful ideas by tying them to the most dramatic moments. It's what makes them completely unforgettable. So when he gets to the top of the mountain, Rostam doesn't just start fighting, he prays. And this is the emotional heart of the entire story. He's not just there for a feather anymore. He's trying to atone for humanity's folly. This one moment right here sets the stage for the story's deepest, most important concepts. I mean, how do you really teach someone the meaning of a word like contrition? You can forget the dictionary. Instead, just picture it, a powerful hero, humbling himself, feeling this deep, sincere regret for what his people have done, for their folly. The raw emotion of that scene, that's what gives the word its real power. And this right here, it's a perfect example of rectitude. His prayer isn't some trick to get what he wants. It's an act of pure, honest, moral correctness. And it's that very quality, his rectitude, that ends up convincing the fierce guardian. We're literally watching morality in action. And that brings us to fortitude. The story gives us this incredible image. Rostam, who just showed all this humility, now stands with this unshakable strength in front of a terrifying griffin. He's facing this huge adversity, not just with muscles, but with this deep moral courage. That is fortitude.
So that was the moral high point of the myth. But the really important thing for us, the real takeaway, is why it works so incredibly well. What's the science, the cognitive principle that makes this whole storytelling shortcut so darn effective?
Okay, let's break it all down. Stories are just better teachers, period. Why? Well, they wrap up information in emotion with words like anguish and contrition. They create a whole web of context, right? They link a villain's avarice directly to a kingdom's calamity. They give us that classic memorable quest structure. They connect abstract ideas like rectitude to things people actually do. And they use that awesome hero-villain contrast to make concepts totally unforgettable.
You know, when you boil it all down, it comes to this. Our brains are not filing cabinets. They're not built to just store random bits of data. They're story processors. They've evolved over thousands and thousands of years to make sense of the world through narrative, through cause and effect, through characters and their consequences.
So, that really brings us to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? If this ancient method is so unbelievably powerful, how can you start using it? What if the best way to learn literally anything, a complex subject, a new skill, even a whole new language, isn't about memorizing flashcards and lists? What if it's about turning it into a myth? You know, creating your own story, complete with a hero, a villain, and an epic quest. So, what learning quest are you going to design for yourself? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.